Hello everyone. Today we're going out to pick oyster mushrooms again. It's already mid-November, so we're taking these sturdy sticks with a saw and a spatula and heading into the forest. The weather is foggy today, not the best for navigation, but I think we won't get lost. So let's get started. The forest is very quiet today. It's foggy, and here we found a small tree. Down here, other mushroom pickers have already cut everything off, but we have a big stick again. This time, instead of using our usual fishing rod, we brought along a sturdy tree pruning stick from Intertool. It will help us with this tough task. It's 5 meters long, so we'll be able to cut everything that's here. We've securely attached the spatula. It's very sharp and helps cut the mushrooms well. This time the mushrooms we found aren't very big yet. This is what they look like. They're small, but they taste just as good. Small ones are even tastier. They're firmer and don't fall apart in soup.
You can also cut them with a knife.
Here you can even trim the small ones with a knife. Well, for now, let's gather what we've already cut. Hand me your bag. We've already got a few mushrooms. We've cut some from just one tree. Now let's pick up what has fallen here. They're very beautiful, dark and fragrant, as always. We don't miss anything. Small mushrooms get less damage than big ones when you cut them from the tree. That's why we carefully pick every single mushroom so we don't miss anything. Please give me the bag right now. There's a small mushroom cluster like this on the tree. They'll grow soon and surely delight us with their impressive size. Here's a picturesque path, a road in the forest. On both sides of the path, there are a great many mushrooms that other foragers have already come through and carefully cut. Our task now, at this very moment, is to slowly and patiently search, to look around and try to find mushrooms that haven't had their tops cut off yet. Not everyone has a stick like ours. Over there in the distance, there's an oyster mushroom growing, about 15 meters above the ground. But we won't be able to reach it. Let it grow. We're not straying far from the road yet, and we've just spotted a mushroom bed. You can see it was cut about a week ago, and new mushrooms have already grown. We're going to cut them now. Cut them right at the base. As close to the tree as possible so we don't damage it. Lift it a little higher. If it doesn't, come off, don't force it. Do you need some help? Don't bend it. It won't work there. Try a bit further. Did it work? Oh, see, that's how it worked. It's a shame they break apart. Nothing you can do about it. The pizza turned out great. What Artem can't reach, I actually can, because I'm just a little bit taller than him. Here they fell down, so now we'll carefully pick up the mushrooms from the ground and then gently move on. Now we finally reached the end of the road, and right here, there's a large old tree with beautiful oyster mushrooms growing on its trunk. There aren't many, of course, but with our stick we can reach them. We already have, right here in this bag, probably actually some of the oyster mushrooms. We'll carefully and very gently cut them at the base, so that as many mushrooms as possible fall down. The branch is in the way, right? Let me try. They won't get stuck. They'll even fall quietly. These are the kind of oyster mushrooms we found. They may be solitary mushrooms, of course, growing alone in the wild, but that certainly does not make them any less delicious or tasty than those mushrooms that grow together in large, dense clusters. We even take the dried ones because they make a delicious soup when they are boiled. Mushrooms like these. You can see that the tree is slightly charred. At the bottom, right nearby, you can see in the distance, there's also a broken tree. Let's go over to it. It looks like we can see oyster mushrooms on it. Here is a dried up riverbed. Not really a riverbed, but an inlet of the Dnieper. This is the tree. You can see on it. A new batch of oyster mushrooms has grown. Someone cut them off at the bottom, but there are still some at the top. We're going to cut them off. We picked a few mushrooms from that tree. They're small there, it's hard to pick them. And there are bushes below, so when you cut them, they get lost down there. That's why we won't bother with the small ones there anymore. Let them grow. Let's go over to the other side. A tributary of the Dnieper. There's a pretty good forest here too. We'll walk around it and see what's here. The riverbank has settled a bit. There are a lot of fallen trees here too. And Tioma has already found something growing over there. Let's go over to him and take a look. The forest is covered in moss. And here there are a few mushrooms up top. The edge is small, but you can see it hasn't been trimmed, so we'll be able to reach it with our stick. They fall down so we remember where they landed. It's sitting tightly down below. You can get closer to the tree. It'll be easier for you to roll it over there. You can even pick them, just be careful not to step on them when you walk. And while you're trimming them, try to move your feet as little as possible so you don't trample them. All right, let's gather what we've already cut, and then we'll trim the mushrooms growing nearby. There's also a mushroom growing underneath the root of this very same tree. We'll carefully cut it off later with a sharp knife, making sure to do it gently and with extra caution so that we don't accidentally break it. Here's the little pile of mushrooms we've gathered. Put the spores into your bag. Let's pick up everything else that fell. They're trimming the mushroom. We have a very sharp, high-quality kitchen knife. It's pretty good too. There it goes into the bag. Little by little, the number of mushrooms in the bag is growing. Here's another small mushroom, which looks quite nice as well, also not bad. Artem is picking the mushrooms he can reach for now. There are some more both low and high up here, so I'll walk around and see what else is here. I walked a little further and spotted another tree with oyster mushrooms growing at the base. It's convenient here. You can cut them with a knife without reaching too high. I'll very carefully and gently cut off these really nice looking attractive mushrooms. and take them with me. The mushroom managed to grow, but no one noticed it. It's actually a bit awkward to film with just one hand, as you might imagine. It's not the same as working with both hands. They haven't gotten damaged here, which means that the conditions in this area have been gentle and have protected them from harm so far. Because of this, we will cut them off carefully, making sure to handle them with care and attention. Even if they fall to the ground after being cut, you do not need to worry, because they will not break apart or shatter. This is because the height here is not very high, so the impact will be minimal and unlikely to cause any damage. Overall, the combination of careful handling and the relatively low height helps ensure that they remain safe and undamaged throughout this process. They're actually quite small, as you can see. At least I don't have to jump high to get them. Something has gnawed here, probably squirrels. A large mycelium, but it's already nice. We won't cut it. These mycelia aren't very big either, but the mushrooms are large, so we can work confidently. We almost caught it. There are more mushrooms growing higher up. I'll try to reach them with an extender, but for now, let's cut these. It's quiet today. You can hear dogs barking in the distance in the village. It's very good weather for mushroom picking. On the other side, you can see the stump where we recently picked mushrooms. Pretty good mushrooms are falling here. Big ones. They got a bit bruised, of course, but still not bad. So we've extended the stick trying to reach the highest mushrooms. Small and large ones. Continue. These are the ones that fell out during the barrel roll. Now we'll gather them up. They're actually pretty good. Large, marketable, and almost not damaged at all. We collect everything, even the pieces, because they make a delicious pizza. You don't even need to cut them, just put them straight onto the pizza. And then we make it. So as you can see, we've already got almost 3 full grams here. Specifically, that's 2 mushrooms that have come from this particular tree. All the way to the end of the island, up here as well. There are mushrooms growing that we're trying to reach with our stick. And spatula. Now we'll carefully trim them. There's a small little stick in the way right now, so I haven't cut it just yet. You need to snip from the side, not push against the stick. Alright, I'll try it later. Maybe it's a bit overripe, but... And over there in the distance, there's another super tree just like this, covered in mushrooms. Let's try to get over there and cut off as much as we can as high up as possible. These are the kinds of mushrooms that fell down, a bit dried out, but the taste hasn't suffered because of it. Let's take them. It even makes me feel a little bit better. Oh, the baskets are so heavy. It'll be easier for us to carry them home. We're taking these too. These are also oyster mushrooms. We've gathered quite a collection. All from one tree. There's windfall all around. But for some reason there aren't any mushrooms on the fallen trees. There's windfall all around, but for some reason there are a few mushrooms on the fallen trees. But here we've found another super tree. It's completely covered in oyster mushrooms. People cut them off at the bottom, but couldn't reach the ones at the top. Now we're trying to use our super stick to reach the mushrooms on the super tree. These are the kind of oyster mushrooms we found. Some are a bit dried out, but they're still good. You can eat them. They don't spoil in the wind, they just dry out a bit. The higher up they are, the fresher they are. They grew later up there. There are some really big, substantial pieces here, just hanging in place, almost suspended in the air. There are some mushrooms growing underneath the surface as well. And if you look closely, you can see them. And
Sometimes the trees we come across are in poor condition, showing signs of age or damage, and sometimes we are lucky enough to find the very first ones that have recently fallen. There are a lot of fallen trees in this area, scattered across the ground, and they can be found in different stages of decay or disrepair. You can see here that mushroom pickers have cut something. Let's look around. A small cluster of oyster mushrooms has grown on this tree. Look how beautifully they've hidden under the tree's canopy. The mushroom picker didn't see them, so we'll cut them. So we walked a little further, and here we also see a tree with oyster mushrooms on it, and there's another one right next to it. So the stick won't be left without work here. Artem will try to cut them. We'll be collecting them. This is another super tree. And on it too, some mushrooms at the bottom were cut, and some have already managed to grow back over this week. You can see such beautiful and remarkable mushrooms here. Now we're going to carefully cut them. It's quite a nice looking mushroom. We'll use our spatula to remove the rest of the ones higher up. Alright, let's get in there. To be continued.
Although this is where we pause for now, the story is far from over. There are many more adventures, discoveries, and moments of excitement still waiting to unfold. We encourage you to stay with us and look forward to what comes next, as the journey continues and new chapters are just around the corner. Thank you for joining us so far, and we hope you are as eager as we are to see how everything develops. Please stay tuned for the next part of our story, where even more surprises and unforgettable experiences await. To be continued. This is how many mushrooms fell from just one tree. I think there are probably about 3 or 4 kilograms here. They're not very old yet, and they're still quite tasty. There are both small and large mushroom clusters like these. We're picking them all. Many of the mushroom clusters broke apart, but we'll collect them for pizza. The fog has cleared, the sun came out, and now it's easier to see the mushrooms. Here we found another tree as well. People have already cut the lower part, but you can still reach the very top with our spatula. Please be careful not to break the spatula, because it is very fragile and delicate. If you hit it, It might break. One fell down, it's still fresh. Can't you get it? I'll get it. Watch. Are you getting it? I cut it off. Look, such beautiful and fascinating mushrooms have fallen from the trees or ground, and they're still very fresh. We've come up to the reeds, and here you can also see mushroom cuttings. Mushroom pickers have been here. This is actually a promising spot. We'll look for mushrooms on fallen trees and on tall ones. Over there, in the distance, we can see mushrooms right on the window ledge. Now we're going to cut them with our double stick, because they're about 6 meters high. You can see them over there. Did you already cut them over there? Good job. That's quite a large Repnitsa mushroom. It probably grew to almost 1 kilogram here. A very aromatic, tasty mushroom. We'll collect them in a bag. Such beautiful mushrooms. The bag that is currently holding the mushrooms, which are quite delicate, might actually tear if it is not handled carefully. Here we found some more mushrooms up top. Some mushroom picker damaged them a bit, probably with a stick, but still managed to cut them off properly. But with a spatula, we'll be able to do this job well, cutting them right at the root. And the mushrooms will be whole ones. Look at this cluster of mushrooms that grew on the tree. It's not a small one. Even without an extension, we managed to reach these mushrooms. Now we'll start picking them. We're down to our last bag, so we'll have to head back to the car soon. The birds got scared by the airplane flying overhead. Here is our super tree, the special one where we were last time. So far, no new mushrooms have grown on it down below, near the base, and unfortunately, we can't reach any higher up into the branches, so for now, at this moment, there's nothing to pick from our super tree. The roar from the airplanes echoes throughout the whole forest.
And right here, under the super tree, some strange mushrooms have grown.
A whole mushroom colony. They're so black, unattractive, with long stems. They hardly smell like mushrooms at all. If you know what kind of mushrooms these are, let us know in the comments. Here's another tree we found. Someone else tried to reach the mushrooms here but couldn't get them. We're going to try to get them, both with our super stick and without it. It's a beautiful one, not old yet. There were plenty of icy ones here before us. Did you snip it? What I could. So now I just stand here, right?
Well, so let me think.
Next, I'm going for the very top one. I was standing on one finger. Well, you still don't have to worry about growing taller. You didn't eat enough porridge. Now we'll pick some. Maybe they'll take the young mushrooms. And I'm trying to reach the ones that are higher up. Here's an interesting thing right here. There's this bark, a piece of tree, and Artyom found some really beautiful oyster mushrooms here. Cut them off. Such beautiful oyster mushrooms. This will be for our lunch. We came across a tree that's also covered with oyster mushrooms up top. Now we have to try to reach them somehow.
We're tying 2 sticks together and we'll give it a try. We're gathering what we have and trying everything, making sure not to trample anything. This is a very good mycelium. It has spread out, of course, but it's still pretty good. I think we've collected about 3 to 4 kilograms here. Let's put it in the bag. That's the end of our mushroom and oyster mushroom picking. We've come up to the car, and here's what we've gathered. Here in the bag, there is approximately about 10 kilos of weight, then there is another 7 kilos and 6 kilos as well. And the backpack here, which is right next to me, actually isn't full at all. All in all, we've collected about 40 kilograms of oyster mushrooms, give or take 5. I think we'll end up with a delicious pizza and a tasty soup. So mushrooms haven't disappeared yet. Here are our mushrooms. Let's carefully weigh them using this electronic scale.
Here are 8 kilograms, 300 grams, 8.3 here. 4 kilograms, 200 grams.
One kilogram, 900 grams. And in addition to that, plus one more tongue as well. And also plus 4 kilograms. We ended up with 38 kilograms, 700 grams, almost 40 kilograms, just like last time. So the fish gathering truly wasn't in vain, and now it has indeed benefited our household.
You have watched a video about how to gather oyster mushrooms using such simple tools as a spatula and a stick. Leave your comments and feedback, like the video, subscribe to our channel, stay with us. Goodbye everyone.